This mysterious person appeared in your life for a reason. It is as if someone carefully guided them to you at the exact right moment. At first, everything seemed accidental, almost insignificant, just another acquaintance destined to fade into the flow of days. But the more you look, the stronger something stirs within you, like a quiet signal that is impossible to ignore. You catch yourself feeling strangely as if there is more hidden behind their words than they even realize. At some point, you come to understand that this is not just an encounter, but the beginning of something much deeper. This is how the higher powers begin to speak to those who are ready to hear. This person is not always comfortable. They can irritate you, argue, or provoke emotions, as if intentionally pressing buttons you never knew existed. Yet, it is within these moments that the real work is hidden. Through them, your weak spots, your fears, and your old wounds are exposed. They are like a mirror in which you see not only your face but also what you have long hidden even from yourself. The more you resist, the more persistently they appear in your space. This is not a punishment, as it might seem, but a special way of awakening. Through them, you are shown where you have yet to reveal your strength. Sometimes this strange person says things that seem to get stuck in your head and give you no peace. You return to these words again and again, replaying them, trying to understand why they hooked you so deeply. Suddenly, the realization hits. Hidden within these phrases is a message intended specifically for you. They might not even remember saying it, but for you, it becomes the key to a new level of understanding. This is how the transmission of energy works. When a person becomes a vessel without even realizing it, you begin to see that behind their presence stands something greater than mere human will. It is like a channel through which knowledge flows to you. Your state of being also shifts when you are near them. Sometimes, in their presence, you feel a surge of strength, as if a hidden source has been switched on inside. At other times, emotions you have long suppressed rise to the surface. These are not random fluctuations, but a fine-tuning of your energy triggered by their presence. They act as a catalyst, accelerating processes that could otherwise drag on for years. With them, you cannot remain the same, even if you desperately wanted to. Their energy interacts with yours, creating a special field where everything hidden becomes manifest. It is within this field that you begin to truly see yourself. There are moments when it feels like this strange person came to destroy everything you have built. They may shatter your perceptions and challenge your beliefs, as if deliberately knocking the ground from under your feet. But within this destruction lies liberation from what no longer serves you. Old patterns, others' opinions, and imposed roles begin to crack and crumble. You stand before this, not understanding what is happening, but inside, a new sense of self is already maturing. They are not a destroyer in the conventional sense, but a harbinger of change. Through them, you are given a chance to step beyond who you were before. You may notice that new thoughts, ideas, and desires, things that weren't there before, emerge when you are around them. It is as if they are opening doors within you that you never knew existed. Sometimes this inspiration comes unexpectedly, like a flash that illuminates everything around you. You realize this isn't just influence, it is an awakening of what was already inside you, lying dormant. They don't give you something from the outside, they help you remember your own. This is subtle work that cannot be seen with the eyes, but its result is felt very clearly. You begin to feel different, deeper, stronger. It also happens that you may want to distance yourself from this strange person. You long to return to your familiar peace. But even at a distance, you continue to feel their influence, as if an invisible thread remains between you. This indicates that the connection has already been formed, and it does not depend on physical presence. They have become part of your internal process, and this process cannot be stopped at will. You can take a pause, but the movement has already begun, and it leads you to places you have never been. The most amazing thing is that they might not even suspect their role in your life. To them, it may all seem like ordinary communication, lacking any special meaning or depth. But that is exactly where the power of such meetings lies, when the guide does not realize their mission. This makes the process purer, free from personal expectations and control. They simply live, speak, and act, while energy directed at you passes through them. You become the one capable of receiving and decoding it. This is a special gift, one not given to everyone. And here, chosen one, is where the most important part begins. You must stop perceiving them only as a person and start seeing them as an instrument through which the higher powers work with you. This does not negate their personality, but it adds a new dimension to your interaction. When you look at it this way, everything begins to fall into place. Their words, actions, even their silence gain significance. You stop reacting automatically and begin to observe, analyze, and feel more deeply. It is at this moment that you move to a new level of awareness. This strange person has not yet shown you everything that can come through them. Ahead of you lie discoveries that could overturn your perception of yourself and the world. The more attentive you are to details, the more you will be able to see. For true messages rarely sound loud. They come quietly, almost imperceptibly. But it is in this silence that true power is hidden. And if you are ready, chosen one, then what follows will change you forever. This strange person affects not only your thoughts and feelings, but the very events around you. Strange coincidences begin to unfold, as if the world is aligning itself with your interaction. You notice how some doors close while others swing open effortlessly, as if you are being led along an invisible route. The more you observe, the clearer it becomes that this is not chaos, but a meticulously constructed process. Through them, you are literally being rebuilt from the inside out, step by step, with no way to return to your former state. This is no longer just influence. It is the beginning of a profound transformation. Sometimes it feels as if they can see right through you, even though you haven't said a word. Their reactions can be uncannily accurate, as if they feel what you yourself haven't yet managed to grasp. This causes anxiety because familiar boundaries begin to blur. But it is through this that your old defenses, which once kept you within limits, are erased. They do not invade you. They simply activate what is already there. In these moments, you begin to realize how closed off you were to yourself. Their presence shatters the illusions you once considered your reality. There are times when they disappear for a while, as if vanishing without explanation. And that is when the most interesting part begins. Because you continue to feel their influence even in their absence, your thoughts become deeper, decisions come faster, and your inner voice sounds more distinct. This means the process has moved to a new level and no longer requires constant contact. You begin to act differently, without noticing how your reaction to familiar things is changing. Everything that once seemed important gradually loses its value, and you suddenly catch yourself feeling like a different person, even though no one gave you any instructions. The words of this strange person may sound like a challenge, and their behavior becomes unpredictable. This is neither a game nor manipulation, but a kind of test of your inner resilience. You are no longer meant to react as you did before, and this very shift becomes the key. If you notice that you remain calm where you once would have flared up, it means you have passed one of the stages. They are, in a sense, pressing old mechanisms just to ensure those triggers no longer govern you. Each time after such encounters, you feel a strange relief, as if a superfluous burden has been cast off. At times, you begin to suspect that they know more than they reveal. Their phrases may be fragmentary, yet they carry a hidden meaning that unfolds only later. It is like a riddle that cannot be solved instantly, but continues to live within you. You return to these moments and suddenly realize that everything had been said in advance. This creates a sense that they are a step ahead, even if they appear to be an ordinary person on the surface. It is this very realization that causes an inner tremor, for you are beginning to sense the true depth of what is occurring. You can no longer look at them with your former eyes. With each passing day, you feel more distinctly how a new power is forming within. It does not shout, it does not demand attention, yet it is impossible to ignore. You become more confident in your perceptions and begin to trust what once caused doubt. This strange person has, as it were, set a mechanism in motion that now operates on its own. The less you resist, the more harmoniously this process unfolds. You stop seeking external validation because you have found an anchor within. This is the very moment when awakening becomes a reality. But there is one detail you have not yet fully grasped. Chosen one. This person will not remain with you forever in the form you know them now. Their role is not to be constantly by your side, but to ignite change within you. When a certain stage is complete, their presence will begin to shift. This may manifest as a gradual distancing, or a sharp turn of events that leads you on to diverging paths. It is here that many make the mistake of trying to hold on to what must be transformed. But you are already prepared to understand that the true value lies not in the person themselves, but in what they have unlocked within you. You stand at the threshold of the next stage, where everything will become even deeper and more unexpected. This journey does not end. It only gains momentum, revealing new levels of understanding. If you look back carefully, you will see how far you have already progressed. It all began with a simple meeting, yet it transformed into something far more significant. Ahead lies a continuation that may change not only you, but your entire environment. For when the chosen one begins to awaken, the world around them can no longer remain the same. This is only the beginning of what you are destined to see. Sometimes this person begins to act as if they are deliberately confusing you, breaking familiar logic and throwing you off balance. Their words may contradict one another, and their actions may seem absurd, or even irritating. But the harder you try to understand them with your intellect, the further the meaning slips away. Then, a strange realization arrives. It is not them you need to understand, but your own reactions. It is as if they are switching off your habitual mode of analysis, forcing you to engage something deeper. It is within this disruption of the familiar system that the true breakthrough begins. You begin to notice that your reactions no longer arise automatically as they once did. Before you respond or feel, a pause appears within, as if someone is giving you a chance to choose. This pause is barely perceptible at first, but with time, it becomes longer and more tangible. Within it, you begin to see options that simply did not exist for you before. Suddenly, you realize that you do not have to follow the old script. You can create a new one. This person does not teach you directly. They create the conditions in which you begin to change yourself. And that is precisely what makes the process so powerful.